Hello everyone and welcome back. This is episode number 12 of our Football Manager 2017 Big Six in the Vanarama experiment. And Man City, as you can see, are still top of League One, only drawing 2 and winning 21, but losing 7 games, 2 of them at home, which shouldn't really be happening to Man City in League One. But like I say, it's been a long time for them outside of the Premier League, still down in the lower divisions. Obviously the cracks are appearing, but they look set to get themselves promoted this time around. Any January transfer activity for Man City they could have done with a couple of players, and there we go. So they brought in a few. Looks like there should be another one up here. Yep. So obviously we knew Harry Kane went. Harry Kane went right at the beginning of the season. Man City have brought in 3 players. Probably smart buying to try and get them over the line. 2 from Reading, 1 from Brentford. So reinforcing their squad, I'd imagine that's going to do the job for them. So I wonder how Liverpool are getting on in the Championship. Okay, so we talked about the cracks appearing. Liverpool have some cracks because they're not even in a playoff position at the moment. They're 5 points away from being in a promotion place to nip in front of Swansea on that. They should be doing a lot better. Did they do anything in January? Lost 10 games, my God. It doesn't look as though they've done much. Did Liverpool bring anyone in January? They would have needed to. They brought in someone from Reading. Brought in a player from Norwich, but that was at the beginning of the season. So, no, they brought in someone from Brentford, but they're talking low-value transfers, unless they've unearthed a couple of gems. Sorry, Carles Gil. I don't think Liverpool have bought enough to get themselves out of the Championship now. What kind of team do Liverpool have at the moment? Let's go back. Let's have a little look at Liverpool's team. Obviously, they've retained some players, but they've lost 10 out of 30. They've lost a third of their matches. They've got Alfie Mawson on loan. Mamadou Sakho's still there. Simon Mignolet is still goalkeeper. But the thing is, you look at some of these players, Jordan Henderson, Wijnaldum's still there. They've lost a lot of good players. So I think the consequences of being the final 2 teams coming out of the Vanarama is obviously costing Man City and Liverpool an awful lot. Man City will get promoted, but will they get themselves back in the Premier League? Liverpool are struggling, as I thought they might. Not that I thought they would, but I thought they might, because the cracks, like I say, the cracks are appearing in the Premier League. I wonder what's going on there. Are the cracks appearing in the Premier League with Chelsea and Tottenham? Chelsea were looking good. Arsenal and United were looking good, although Southampton were leading the way. Tottenham looking not so good. How are things now? Okay, so there you go. Arsenal have taken control at top. Man United are in second, which is pretty much how you would have expected it to be at this time around. Southampton still in with a shade. Leicester looking very likely that they're going to lose their Premier League crown. Chelsea and Tottenham are sitting around about upper mid-table at the moment. They need to start spending some money. I know Chelsea spent a lot. Arsenal and United spent quite a lot. Tottenham didn't really spend a lot. What have they spent now in January? So looking at this, there's no big January transfers on here except Ronaldo Vieira from Leeds to Stoke. So if we go down here, Arsenal brought Lewis Cook in from Bournemouth. Tottenham are the ones that really needed to do the business. Doesn't look as though there's been anything significant. Tottenham, no, that was at the beginning of the season. So Tottenham haven't done any real business. There hasn't really been any January business in the Premier League, which is surprising. But I suppose certain players are going to do certain jobs and they're going to do pretty well. I wonder if this Lucas guy is actually doing something for Arsenal. I tipped him because of a big money transfer. He's a left back. And he has been playing. And he's doing decently. Fair play. Yeah, you do get good left backs from Brazil, don't you? Worth 29 mil now on 140k a week. That's a lot of money that comes straight out of Brazil to earn. Usually they come over and they get a decent contract, and then they earn the big wages afterwards by proving themselves in European football. Giving a Brazilian out of Brazil 140k a week to start with, that's a lot of money. But there we go. I can just click here and just go onto the Champions League, and we're going to see who made it through. Did all of them make it through? It looks as though Man United missed out. Arsenal, Leicester made it. Arsenal made it. I think we already knew Arsenal made it. So 2 teams through to the next round. Is that going to be enough? I don't know. We could have done with having Man United get through. But like I say, these Arsenal, Man United are rebuilding. Chelsea and Tottenham are a bit behind. Obviously, looking at the way Liverpool and City are going, it could be another season until any more of them get back into it. So what I think we should do now is take us to the end of the season and see how it finishes. My prediction is that Arsenal will win the Premier League, Liverpool will win the playoffs, Man City will win League One, and I think looking at this, Leicester will go out, Arsenal will go through, and maybe get an update in the quarterfinal depending on who they get. If they get the victors of CSK Moscow and Sevilla, they might do okay, but there's a lot of big teams left in that. I don't think Arsenal are going to go far, but say they're getting their reputations back, they're building. They would have held on to some of their reputation on the way through because of who they are. But like I say this over and over again, the cracks are appearing in a lot of them. I think Chelsea and Tottenham may only become mid-table sort of Premier League teams unless they spend big. And then obviously Liverpool and Man City have got a lot of catching up to do, especially City. So let's see how the season unfolds, and then we'll get cracking on a new one. Okay, so we're at the end of the season, and as you can see, Man City have gone up as clear champions. Well, 9 points clear of Birmingham, but well clear of anybody else. So, yep, there you go. Man City into the Championship. How did Liverpool fare in the Championship? Well. Liverpool didn't even make the playoffs in the Championship there. They were pipped to the playoffs by Fleetwood. They lost 15 games. I'm sorry, that is absolutely awful. Talking about the cracks appearing, Man City, will they have the same problem in the Championship? Will Liverpool do better next time around? Absolutely goddamn awful, that is. So hang over that. Liverpool finishing 7th, not even making the playoffs. At least Man City, when they had their poor go in the league in League One last season, at least they made the playoffs. They just lost in the playoffs. Liverpool didn't even make the playoffs in the Championship. Well, it's going to be a big Championship season with Man City and Liverpool in there. It's going to be another season of Premier League football absent for Liverpool and Man City. Jesus. Well, talking about the Premier League, let's have a little look on how everybody got on there. Okay, so Arsenal won the Premier League and Man United finished second, as I thought it would go. Leicester have been dethroned. Chelsea didn't even make it into Europe, and Tottenham are in 11th. It's going to be a big building project for these guys. Absolutely massive building project in front of them too, Chelsea and Tottenham. How did the FA Cup go, I wonder? Okay, so Arsenal have won the double. Where did our other teams fall? Man United fell to Arsenal in the semi-final. 6th round, Man United and Arsenal. 5th round, is that where Chelsea went? Chelsea must have gone in the fourth round. Liverpool went 8 to Sunderland after a replay. Well, I'm not going to go any further back. How about we have a look at the league? Arsenal beating finalists from winning a treble. Now that's a way to sign yourself back in the Premier League, isn't it? You know, after the second season winning it and then winning a treble, a domestic treble. Oof. Well, I guess you can say that was really unlucky. Man United beaten semi-finalists by Arsenal in the League Cup as well. And then no one else really got that far, really, did they? So, Europe. How did our English teams do in Europe this season? So Barcelona were victors in the final of the Champions League, but how far did our English teams get? Well, not the semi-final. Quarter-final. Arsenal made it to the quarter-final. Leicester, as expected, went out. But Arsenal made it to play against Dortmund and lost on away goals to Dortmund, which isn't really a mad thing, really, is it? Juventus beat Leicester, as we expected. So I wonder if there are other teams, obviously Man United would have probably gone into the Europa League. How did the English teams do in the Europa League? Okay, so none of them won it. Sporting Lisbon beat, well, that is actually Schalke. So Sporting Lisbon beat Schalke. None of them made the semi-final. Newcastle made the quarter-final. The second knockout round. Stoke fell in that one. But Man United didn't even make it this far. Man United must have finished bottom of their group. We're going to have a quick look at that. So yeah, Man United finished bottom of their group after. Good God. So, English teams not flying the flag in Europe at the moment. We're going to have a little look in the next episode to see how far away English teams are from getting that 4th Champions League spot back. But at the moment, the big shock was Liverpool not even making the playoffs in the Championship. Man City have finally got themselves promoted from League One, so that's another league we finally say goodbye to. So we've been through the Vanarama, League Two, and now League One. We won't be seeing anything in those divisions anymore. It'll just be the Championship and the Premiership. Hopefully, our 2 remaining Big Six can get themselves promoted in the next Championship season, and Arsenal can build on their Premier League win with a good Champions League campaign next season to start the rebuilding process for English teams in Europe so they can get that 4th qualifying space back. But the one thing we're going to do in the next episode is look at who's the manager of our Big Six right now. See if these young managers have kept hold of their jobs. The Man City manager, if he was still manager for the full season, he would have kept his job. Liverpool manager should have lost his. I said Tottenham manager, possibly the Chelsea manager should have lost theirs too. So that's something that we'll look at in the next episode. So thanks very much for keeping up with the series. As always, feel free to leave any suggestions in the comments below of another series possibly that I could do. Or even if you're enjoying this one, how do you think it's going to go? We're getting to the point where it's going to start getting boring because we're just going to be doing Premier League seasons all the time. It was all about the journey back and the impact it has on English football, losing those Big Six. So I think the moral of the story is if they did go with World League, which some people are expecting to happen one day, and they took the Big Six out, would the Premier League be any good anymore? Well, I think it pretty much answers it. Without the Big Six, the Premier League is a poor league. So Champions League coefficients, European coefficients, is proving that. English teams are falling off the boil. These teams are not big enough to compete on a European stage. So obviously our Big Six are essential. I think another moral of the story is to not hate on each other when you're in Europe as well, because this is what will happen if English teams continue to do poorly in Europe. They will lose a 4th spot, and who is that going to be at? Whose cost is that going to be at? It would have been at Liverpool's this year. At times it would have been Arsenal's loss, it would have been Man United's loss, it would have been Man City's loss and Tottenham's loss. All of you would have missed out on Champions League football if you didn't have that 4th spot. So hating on each other in Europe just isn't something you should be doing. You should be rooting for each other in Europe to protect that 4th spot. Anyway, I could babble on all day. There we go. Another season done. I'll see you in the next episode for the start of the new season. Cheerio for now. Thank you very much.